Welcome to Sharp or Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. This is the show that makes the squares sharper and makes the wise guys pay attention. I am Chad Millman. I am joined, as I am for every episode, by my co-host, my companion, my compadre, professional bettor, my BFF, Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Chad, how we doing?
We're stoked. We're ready. We're locked and loaded. We got, what do we got? We got 72 hours until 96 hours until the Chicago Bears kick off. We're 4 days away from the Indiana Hoosiers taking on the Miami Hurricanes. We got Arctic weather in Chicago. Like, as a fan, all I've done is watch the videos, the NFL Films video they just put out about the Bears comeback. There's this great, funny video on Twitter right now by this guy, Mark Morgan, who does a looking back at the Bears comeback from 2074. It's freaking hilarious. I recommend everyone go watch it. It's awesome. And then we get to do this show together, which is a privilege. It's our Thursday wildcard episode. We're going to narrow down the options on a quest to find 5 picks we agree on for this week. Subscribe to Sharp or Square on YouTube, Apple Pods, Spotify. After we're done covering the games today, we have a bonus for everybody. As you all know, I am heading to Hard Rock Stadium for Monday's college football national championship game between the Hoosiers and the Hurricanes. At the end of today's show, we're going to have 2 things. One, some really interesting feedback from Hard Rock Bet on betting markets for the game. You know, they're the only legal sports book in Florida, so it's interesting to see what they're getting on this market. We'll share some of that. We'll also bring on one of Matt Mitchell's favorite college football betting experts to give us some picks for the game at the end of the show, so stay tuned for some college football breakdown for the national championship game. All right, let's get into this thing.
Well, first, I mean, it can't be skipped over.
What?
Tomlin. I mean, I know you're so obsessed with your own life, Chad, but the rest of us, no one gives a fuck about the Bears or Indiana Hoosiers. Tomlin.
By the way, you're wrong. We're both. I am right now rooting for both of America's teams. Both of them.
Again, no one cares about the Hoosiers or Indiana or the Bears. Let's talk Tomlin.
Last week was last week. This week was this week. Next week will be next week.
How did you skip over Tomlin, Chad? Heartbreak. Dude. You're too excited. You're too happy. I don't like it. You got me looking up what's the Rams money line with the Hurricane money line right now. You got me making a hate bet, but
oh no,
they got to remember. They can't believe they got rid of our guy Tomlin.
They did,
and they did it the smart way. What we said about Harbaugh, I cannot believe they let Harbaugh walk out the door for no trade aspect. Tomlin, at least they retained his rights. Maybe he goes does TV for a year, or maybe he takes one meeting in that boardroom and he's like, "My God, I cannot be with these suits. I need to get back to my guys and get back to NFL." So, I mean, the Tomlin stuff, I mean, you're obviously set with your head coach, but there are 9 other vacancies right now, everyone's like, oh my God, Tomlin's available. Man, has never had a losing season. And again, we can go through the quarterback list, just a ton of trash, and had a winning season every year. So I was honestly in shock. Like, my mouth hit the floor when they let him go. But I think we had heard a little bit of whispers about it, right? He was a little burned out with the team, the coach, like not the coaches, but just in general football, right? 19 years is a long time. So, I was just floored. I can't believe it right now. We lost Harbaugh and Tomlin. It was our bread and butter, Chad, our favorite matchup every year. And just like that, it's over, buddy.
Yeah, I blacked out. You were talking about Tomlin, but I was really just singing the Indiana fight song in my head the whole time. I'm kidding. Yeah, we got to pour one out.
You're killing it. You're killing it.
Pour one out. A great career for Mike Tomlin. He has made us so much money. He has made Matt Mitchell so happy because of all the Tomlin drops he's been able to cut over the years. The guy has been a pillar of consistency. And you think about it, since Ben Roethlisberger retired, what he has done with the Kenny Pickett's and the Mason Rudolphs and obviously the Aaron Rodgers and the Duck Hodges, and I can't even think of all the mediocre to bad quarterbacks. And this guy has figured out a way every single year in every single game to put his team in a position to have that voodoo magic that Tomlin has and get the turnover, get the takeaway, muddy up the game, be patient, really just a clinic in coaching. I continue to not understand why owners, why management would be anxious to get rid of coaches who have proven to be winners year after year after year. Same with Harbaugh. Look, we're seeing LaFleur has not been let go by the Packers. They're working on getting him an extension. I think it's the right thing to do. Like, you don't want to just think the grass is not always greener. There's been so many instances where it just doesn't work a second time. Like, you got a good coach. Keep the good fucking coach. You think the Titans wouldn't love to have Mike Vrabel right now? How stupid and impetuous was that? Like, you got the guy.
You're saying Harbaugh's already signing with the Giants?
Yeah.
Even a week later. Like, again, the Ravens, they do have a good owner. I'm not going to crap on their owner. The guy's smart. I think that was the first time he spoke in like 8 years.
7 years. And he was great.
And, that to me, like I told you, I felt like an emotional decision. Apparently he did it via phone while Harbaugh was driving home. That's the story that came out. So, the fact that this man has already signed to potentially be the Giants' next head coach, just again, people, we always talk about don't let emotions take control. And that's Pittsburgh. They look like the more level-headed organization right now compared to the Ravens, in my opinion.
Look, the Ravens owners press conference was great. The best line was someone asked him about Lamar Jackson having any power in the decision about who the next coach is going to be.
Yeah.
And he was like, I love my players. I'll listen to my players. They don't have any power. I'm the one with the power. I make the decision. And it was just straight.
Cool, though. He said, I want to hear everyone's opinions, though.
Yeah, of course.
He did put that caveat, but I'm with you. At the very end, he dotted the I and said, no, I got the power.
That was like, by the way, that's the billionaire mindset. And that's how every owner thinks. Like, they do not worry about the noise that is happening anywhere else. They own the team. Everyone else is working for them. That's it. That's the bottom line. Who's going to work for us this weekend? Simon, who's going to work for us? Who's going to turn our playoffs around? Who's going to make things go? Every week, we give it our picks. Every week, your fellow professional bettors call to give you some feedback. It's time to summarize those opinions. It's a special divisional round edition of Sharp Call.
I have to answer this phone.
Yeah, off the top, the two big ones, hearing from a lot of pros about, were the 49ers, especially at the 7.5, and this Patriots team at -3, which I'm not going to lie to you, I'm having a tough time getting on board. But hearing them break it down, the reasoning for both of it is, again, the 49ers one just makes sense to me. It sounds sound. The Patriots one's just so interesting. It's just, we've talked about these great defenses, how they are in the playoffs and how much tougher it'll be for Drake May. But even looking now at the live line, it is moving to 1 to 3.5. So
yeah,
clearly these pros are finally taking their position on it. But for the other two games, it's really split. Again, we're going to dive into it more, obviously, but there's no, six-figure guy coming in on the Bears or the Rams. And I just don't see groups taking that large of a position at this point. We did talk about the total. I've heard some smart money come in pretty heavy on that total and take the under. On the flip side, that Denver Bills game, I know a really smart, respected group. They came in on the over. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday. I think word came out that the Bills only can dress 3 receivers right now. I think they have three healthy receivers, and I haven't heard a whisper of anyone else touching that over. And if anything, it's come down. I've seen a couple 45.5 numbers on that one. So that was the game I talked about. If the weather was good, I honestly wanted to be on the over. I could have seen both offenses moving the ball. Like we always talk about Josh Allen. It's, he might struggle in the first half, but in the second half, he lights up these defenses.
Yeah.
What he does. So, I was upset. I thought it was going to be more pros all over Denver, the public all over the Bills. It really was 2 or 3 really smart groups came in on Denver with me, I guess I should say, with the +1.5s. And, we all grabbed it. Now it's flipped and it's like, okay, now all these other groups are going to come in on the Bills at +1.5. I know plenty of guys who've been waiting to get the Bills at +1.5. So, that's a number I just don't see flipping back to Denver. I just think if it did flip again, there'd be so much resistance. They'd just go back to the Bills. So really interesting for the books, right? They're going to need Denver here and they're letting it hold as a favorite. So that's a really fun game. I'm excited to break down. But yeah, the professionals, those two games, the Bears, Rams, very split. Bills, Broncos, they're very split.
All right, let's get into it. Reminder, we won't be doing our normal Sunday morning and evening shows. We will do a Saturday morning preview show. We will do a Sunday evening review show, but that is coming after the divisional games.
Yeah, you're going to be all right. It's going to be a late night for you in Miami, buddy.
It's going to be a very late night. I don't even know what I'm doing yet because I got to watch the Bears game. My wife is coming down. My buddy,
coffee. That's what you'll be doing. Lots of coffee for Chad.
Yeah, my buddy Matt and his wife are coming down. We're all going to have to figure out where we're watching the Bears game, and I'm going to have to figure out how to get from wherever we're watching the Bears game to my hotel to set up and do this post-game show. It's going to be like broadcast news. We're just going to be racing to get on the air. It's going to be super exciting. And by then, I don't know. Will I be happy? Will I be sad? Will I be turning the corner and moving on to Indiana? I don't know yet. I don't know. Will I be thinking about Mike Tomlin? We just don't know. Get the shows at Sharper Square on YouTube. Subscribe and like the video while you're at it. You can subscribe at Sharper Square on Apple Pods, Spotify, etc. All right. Remember, contest lines this week for the contest. Sides and totals for all the games. Saturday, January 17th, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Buffalo is a 1-point underdog at Denver. The total down to 46.5. As you predicted, as you just mentioned in Sharp Calls. This was Simon Says. The game is flipped. Denver is now a 1-point favorite. Definitely a wise guy move, even if it's just a few groups, because the majority of the bets are on the Bills. So we know the public is coming in on the Bills here. The under, to me, and you just alluded to it, I leaned over on Tuesday and sort of over the last 48 hours, I flipped my script a little bit. Think about the Bills' run defense. Why would the Broncos do anything other than run the ball? And then think about what the Broncos can do against the pass, especially in man defense, which the Bills are terrible at. And the Bills being so good at running, why would they do anything other than run the ball? So by the stats and by the analytics and by the schemes, this should be an under. And as I say it, it means it'll go to 85 points.
And that's how I'm feeling. It's like we have to take at least one over, don't we? All the other games, I feel way more confident about the unders here. And this one, I'll be patient. The pros are going to keep betting the under. Maybe we get lucky and we get another key number. It gets down to 44. That'd be amazing. So I'll be a little patient. Like I literally just checked the weather before we came on here. It's going to be in the 40s, high 30s, sunny. I mean, it's going to be perfect football weather a mile high. So looking at both these teams, yes, the defenses on both these teams, their strengths this year have been stops in the red zone, but we see all the time in the playoffs, right? It's just it doesn't really go like you're used to in the regular season. And I'll give out the one glaring stat, Chad. This is what, if you're someone you want to keep fading me, I totally get it. If you want to be on the Bills here, this is the one stat that literally scared the shit out of me by our guy, Evan Abrams. The line has flipped from a team being favored by 1.5 to now being a dog 5 other times in the playoffs. The record of the team it flipped to. So it flipped from the Broncos being a favorite to them, or being a dog to them being the favorite. The teams that become the favorites, like the Broncos, they're 1-4 in this exact scenario. It's not historically a good spot.
But it's not historically a good spot in the regular season either. I mean, we made some money this year betting against the team when the line flipped, and either we wanted to get ahead of the move or we went with the team that became the underdog.
Yeah, and we also got lucky, I think, in our one contest, the week 1, we had the Ravens plus 1.5, and it flipped.
That's right.
And obviously it covered. Again, Ravens, though, you could have bet that for 4 months at plus 1.5. So that's tough one. But yeah, the last time it happened, January 19th, 2025, you probably remember it, Ravens-Bills, same exact scenario. The Bills were the favorite. It flipped. The Ravens became the favorite. They lost 27-25. Eagles-Chiefs, Super Bowl, obviously. I don't have to mention it again. Eagles did lose that game. And then I was shocked. It had been a while. The last time it happened was in 2015, Super Bowl once again. New England Patriots, Seahawks. I couldn't believe that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So the spread, it was New England, obviously, as a dog. It flipped to them be a favorite, and they won, we all know, 28-24. Before that, same thing, Super Bowl, Seahawks, Denver. Obviously, people remember that when that line flipped. Denver just got rolled. What was that, 43-8?
Something like that.
And then the last one, 2012, Giants against the 49ers. Obviously, the line flipped. The Giants won that game. Beat on the road. Went to Candlestick and won that game 20-17. So, we see the data here. Obviously, it points out that it's not great to be on the flip side, which is making me a little nervous. Maybe I can talk us out of putting our contest here. Obviously, I wish our contest let us put first halves in here. It's like no brainer. Yeah. I want to get on Denver first half. Once again, I as much as it hurt that Jags game, it was a little bit of unluckiness there. And Denver here, we've talked about a Sean Payton on script, that first 30 plays. We expect it to be scores, right? I mean, he's been game planning this 30 plays for 2.5 weeks now. So I'm really excited to see what Sean Payton comes out with. But yeah, I was so confident, honestly, on that Denver line because it's like, all right, perfect. It flipped. Despite every bookmaker I've talked to, it's all Bills money. All the teasers. I mean, they can't get enough of 7.5 point teasers on this Bills team. And as soon as I saw that stat from Evan, I goes, oh my God, am I a dead man walking here taking this? But we talk all the time. It's a super small sample. Not going to try to react to it too much, but I'm definitely going to drop my figure amount from this one. This was going to be a bigger bet for me. I'm being a little more patient here because, like anyone else, as soon as you see that Josh Allen's down to 3 healthy receivers, and it's 2 guys that were off the streets not even a couple of weeks ago, we get it. He can overcome all these. Superman. It's a man with a bad leg, a bad foot, a possible concussion on a short week on the road a mile high. It's like,
don't forget he hurt his finger too.
Yeah, it's all stacked against him, and he's the GOAT. Not the GOAT. I mean, he's great, but it's like if there's any other quarterback, me and Chad would be putting our second mortgage on our house and betting this Denver Bronco team. But Josh Allen scares us. So I don't know about you. I'm still on my position, but I just see this number just being like that Bears number. I can easily see this getting a 2.5, 3 by kickoff on this Bills side. I really do think a lot of professionals will come in on this Denver team as the week goes longer, just because all the underlying numbers, like the data really favors this Denver team. Chad already talked about their run game. They're probably the second best graded offensive line right behind this Bills team. And, we talked about the Denver's got a great D-line. The Bills do not. So it could be a game where, it's one in the trenches like most games. But at the end of the day, people, when they bet this one, it's going to be simply they're going to be bet on the quarterback. They're going to take a position. I'm not really about to bet on Bo Nix as a favorite over Josh Allen.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Like this is Josh Allen is like the knight in Monty Python. They cut off his arm. They cut off his other arm.
Just a scratch.
Just a flesh wound. Just a flesh wound. It's betting against Patrick Mahomes. That's why the total is so scary, because we've seen with both of these teams, Bo Nix had multiple double-digit comebacks in the fourth quarter this year. This team, the Bills last week, and the Jags lit it up in the second half, almost blew past the total of 51.5, 52, right? So it's a tricky game. There's all the metrics in the world on the field. There's all the schemes in the world on the field, but we're looking at the players, and you really got to ask yourself, are we betting against Josh Allen? Are we betting on Bo Nix? It's a tricky one. I have no desire right now, strong enough feeling for this to be one of the contest plays.
Again, that over, we could on Saturday, we couldn't make it.
On Saturday, that's to me, the total is the thing that I'm most interested in. The side is less appealing to me.
Both Mitchell, by the way, for 20, 21 points in the fourth quarter. That's
what I mean.
A lot this season. So
yeah, we see it. I mean, but I feel like we've been seeing that so much this year. So much we saw it. The Steelers Houston game almost went over. The Bears Packers game went over because of that. Like, how many times have we seen just these crazy points scored in the final quarter? Matt Mitchell's been very quiet about this game. Last week, couldn't shut up. This week, not a peep.
Yeah, and what you just talked about, it's part of the game of the thing about these guys probably didn't sleep that great the night before, right? You're amped up for a game. Then you're all day, you're waiting for this game to kick off. Once again, you're amped up, fired up. You use a lot of that energy in the first half. How do you not? We've seen every game. The Jags, that Bills game, think about how hard those guys were flying around that first half. And by the second half, a lot of those guys did not have their legs underneath them, right? That's part of it, where it's like they go so hard. You're so excited to be in the playoffs. So I think what you're saying is true. Like, we've seen it now in a couple games this year where these guys, with the new kickoff rules and all of that, it's definitely something to look into. That it's maybe that's the place for us, right? Just taking these unders first half and taking the over second half. It's
a good idea. Meanwhile, the second game, 8 p.m., San Francisco at Seattle. The number has moved from 7.5 to 7. The total has ticked down from 45.5 to 45. This was Chad's choice. And I actually still, the total, the under, everything we just said about the second halves and the fourth quarters being true. But I think that also plays into when we've got volatility with quarterbacks, when we're talking about Josh Allen, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams. I think we have less of that in this game. And I think if we're trying to sort of understand the narrative for these games, Mike McDonald is not going to want to let Sam Darnold take this game away from his defense, right? He's been much more conservative. The game planning, the Clint Kubiak game plan has been much more conservative with Sam Darnold since he had that little stretch of multiple turnover games. And they've really been letting their defense just take control of any game Seattle's been in. And it's been working for them. I think that they're thinking, play conservative, don't give the Niners any short fields with turnovers. And the Niners, they've struggled to run the ball without Trent Williams, and he's playing on one leg. He's admitted it. They've struggled to run the ball without George Kittle. He's not going to be in the game. So the Seahawks know that. They're going to game plan to be conservative. I can't see why the under hasn't moved even more.
Yeah, I can tell you there are some pros. I know that have taken position on the over in this game, in the sense that what you just talked about, right? The 49ers defense is so bad. They're expecting Sam Darnold to have a much better game than he did the previous one, where, 13 points. Like, again, they gave him a ton of praise because he won the game. Obviously outplayed Brock Purdy, but that was not that impressive, right? They had, was it 2 red zone turnovers where they went for a fourth down, then he had a horrible pick. But we've talked about it. Sam Darnold has not been playing well. So that's why I'm with you on the under. It's like that's a lot of points to be betting on Sam Darnold in a playoff game to put up, right? If you're making that bet, you're banking on him to at least get you 3 touchdowns, maybe even possibly 4 if you think they're going to win this game. So I'm with you. I honestly am shocked too. This is not 6.5. I really thought the pros would be like me and just hammer this 49ers side. I could not believe the 7.5. I know they're injured and they're really banged up, but it's so hard to be the divisional opponent 3 times. Like, this wouldn't be the third time, it'd be the second time, but playing them 3 times, it's like, each other so well. It's always such close, tight games. And the last time you played, you got the worst possible game from the 49ers. Like, everything in that game was just so not like them, right? Even Brock Purdy, as fearless as he looked in all these other games, that was the only game he honestly looked timid and scared. That Seahawks game. Like, he just did not look comfortable at all. You saw in the Eagles game, even stepping on the pocket, he looked comfortable, so much more comfortable compared to that Seattle game. So, I gave it all the stats. He's owned, Brock Purdy's owned the Seattle team. He's only lost 1 game in his career there. He's 6-1. I gave out that Shanahan stat, which is really impressive to me. Wild card round, divisional round, Shanahan 7-0 straight up, 6-1 against the spread. When he's an underdog on the road in his career, he's 3-0 straight up, Shanahan. So he's been a guy in this position who's dominated. And I don't know if I'm as confident in the money line. I wish I was in this Seattle, this Niners team. I probably will throw a little bit on it at some point. But right now, for me, my biggest position is obviously the 7.5 on this 49ers team. It just feels like way too many points. And I'm excited to see where the resistance will be, because I know some pros who they want to be on Seattle. They want to be under the 7, obviously. So the books, will they just leave it at the 7? Because, again, we talk all the time. The books are not they're not here for pushes. They lose on pushes, right? That's the worst case scenario. So if this doesn't tick under 6.5, I'm not going to lie to you. I'll be a little nervous heading into game time. But the way it's looking right now, I just think the pros will keep coming to the 49ers team. And most books I've seen, it is all 49ers money for the most part, right? That's been the early money here. So like we talked about, the public usually doesn't bet till Saturday, Sunday. So maybe I'll have more info come Saturday morning. But yeah, for right now, I like both our positions. I like the under. I'm with you on that. I just think it's going to be a really close, low-scoring game. And, I wish I'd given out, honestly, the 7.5, as Simon says, but just as happy to give out the 7. I think that's still a great number on 49ers.
Well, look, the 7.5, I played it as well with you. But a big number like this, also, it's harder to cover when the total is as low as it is. The bookmakers are kind of telling us something here by setting the total where it is and having the number where it is, and that it's moved in the direction of the Niners. You got it like 24-17, right? That's sort of what it could feel like, maybe 24-21, which is why it was so important to get the half point. But that's kind of how this game shapes up, because you got to believe that Kyle Shanahan will manufacture some points. Like we know he can do that. He's at his best when he's playing with the fewest number of pieces on the board and just scheming the fuck out of a game.
Like you said, they're wounded for sure. Like Trent Williams is wounded, McCaffrey is wounded. We said they have guys off the streets now playing wide receiver and
linebacker.
I'm like you. I'm shocked the total is this high, because I know it was week 1. The first time they played, it was a 17-13 win by the 49ers, and the last time they played, it was a 13-3 game.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you. Like that was the only reason I'm so hesitant to be hammering this under so much. It's like, my model has it at 42.5. I mean, there's some books that were still at 46. I know it's come down to 45.5, but I was just shocked they hung such a big number on this one. And looking right now, the different splits, it's basically every public book for the most part is on the under. 2 sharp books, it's heavy money towards the over. So yeah, maybe the professionals really do love the over here, and we're just underrating how good the Seahawks offense can be. I don't know how you can trust Sam Darnold here.
I agree. I don't know what the professionals are thinking, or maybe they don't know what we're thinking. Let's take a word from our sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. Today's show is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. With Miami making the national championship, Hard Rock Stadium will be rocking. And if you're going to the game, Hard Rock Bet is giving you a $10 bonus bet to get in on the action. If you're watching the game out in Miami, head to the Hard Rock Cafe Miami, Duffy's North Miami Beach, American Social Miami, and Batch Brickell. Hard Rock Bet is dropping $10 bonus bets there too. You can turn that free $10 bonus bet into a big win by placing the same game parlay, or even if you're just watching the game at home, there's still no better place to bet the natty than Hard Rock Bet, because it's Florida Sportsbook. So they're going crazy with promos for this one. If you haven't tried your first bet on Hard Rock Bet, there's still time for you to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet. And if it hits, you get not only your winnings, but also an extra $150 in bonus bets. Even if your team may be out of the playoffs, that doesn't mean you have to sit on the sidelines. Between same-game parlays, live betting, a can't-miss welcome offer, and new promos dropping every day, Hard Rock Bet has you covered all postseason long. That's Hard Rock Bet. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit today. Okay, so the first Sunday game is Houston at New England, and very interesting moves here. The line has ticked up from 2.5 to 3. Total has come down from 41 to 40.5. Nico Collins did not practice, probably not going to play from the concussion. Christian Gonzalez, who had been in the protocol, did practice for the Patriots yesterday. This is a low total for a game with 2 good quarterbacks. And yet, our Brass Balls Bet of the Week, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We're going under 41.
You know what it takes? It takes brass balls.
Yeah, we love it. And, I've talked about I'm getting bullied here into New England, which, I'm happy to do it, because to me, the Houston one felt so easy. It's like, of course, you just take Houston here, a team that, has the better defense, has, an offense that, as much as crap we give them, how consistent they've been, down the stretch here, they've been much better than what obviously they started the year, right? They've kind of found their way and their identity as the season gone along here. But the Nico Collins stuff, I'm with people. That's going to push me over, right? Like you're losing a star player. Christian Gonzalez is already practicing. So that's a huge, huge deal to me. The fact they're losing already a key piece of their offense, that's what they've struggled, right? They've struggled consistently moving the ball this season. And now you're losing Nico, CJ's favorite number one. Just feels like a huge deal. And I do think this will go up to 3.5 in almost every book, right? Come kickoff, I can see New England getting up to that number again. So I love the under, love New England. And, this is a tough one to swallow. And the stuff I'm trying to find is all the data about rushing quarterbacks against this Houston team. There isn't much, right? They've just been so dominant this year. Obviously, they lost those first 3 games. The other 2 games they lost, one was one we remember, right, against Denver, where CJ got knocked out. Denver came back in the fourth quarter. And the other one was on the road, October 20th at Seattle. And, I don't know if people remember that game, but, 27-19, Sam Darnold played really well. And honestly, a lot of it was with his leg getting out the side of the pocket. So I do think that's the type of stuff that, Drake May, the coaching staff, like they're going to look at that where it's like, okay, we know how dominant Will Anderson, all these edge rushers are. You can't beat him with speed, right? It's a lot different than going against a 41, 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers who just stands in that pocket. We've seen Drake May consistently stand in the pocket and then move up. He steps up into it. And last week we saw where he knew the pass game was not working for him, right? He was struggling in that first half. He went back to his legs, which to me, that dictated that game. That saved them in that game where he picked up some easy, cheap first downs and it kind of got them in a little bit of rhythm. Now, not that impressive, right? They scored 16 points, but to me, that was a big deal, right? The kid threw a pick, had a bad fumble, never wavered, played really well in that second half. I think he threw for over 250 yards. So I know, I can't believe I'm not going with this Houston defense, but I am seeing the way of these other pros and why they like this Patriots team. And it's bizarre world. We might have a world where it's Bo Nix versus Drake May going to a Super Bowl, but we talk all the time, Chad. That's why in the quarterback position, the biggest nerds in the world can say it's a team sport. End of the day, it's a team sport. It's a quarterback sport. Like you get your quarterback in the draft, you can change your entire organization within a year or two. And this is crazy to me. I can't believe I'm backing the Patriots, but it's about the number. And I'm glad we're going with the under, Chad. It's, to me, another under that will keep coming down. I could see this easy being 39.5 by kickoff.
Yeah, I'm much more comfortable with the under than I am with the side in this.
We'll see. Maybe I'll get you there Saturday morning. We'll see.
We'll see. We got time.
Yeah.
We got time. We don't know where it's going to land.
I get it. You're a little gun shy on the sides right now. I get it, buddy. But
oh, my God. Am I gun shy?
I think it's a good read by the pros. And again, I'm saying I'm off on this one because I have a model at 2.5. But I'm going to go back and dive more into what it's like without Nico Collins. I'm sure it's going to move by another 0.5 point. So three feels right for this line.
All right, last game. Maybe the most important game in the history of football. The Chicago Bears hosting the Los Angeles Rams, 6:30 p.m., Sunday night, January 18th. Bears are 4-point underdogs right now at Hard Rock. The total is 49. It's come down from, an opener of 52 way early in the week. Most of the week was at 50.5 when we spoke on Tuesday, at least. The weather is just wreaking havoc with this game. I highly recommend everybody go check out a story on ESPN.com today by John Keim. And it's a really fun story about how players handle the cold. Some of the coolest things that stood out for me, Stafford, thanks to advice from Tom Brady, plays in these really cold weather games in a scuba suit. And Sean McVay wears a scuba suit. And they say it doesn't restrict their movement. At least Stafford says that. Brady says that. And it's a great way to sort of maintain, some kind of protection against the cold. The flip side is how many players talked about the pain that comes from having jammed, sprained fingers in the cold. It just feels like your finger is cracking when you are holding a football, trying to block someone. They say the pain is unlike anything they felt. And Matthew Stafford is going into this game where it's supposed to feel like it's -4 with a badly sprained finger.
Yeah, I gave you that stat. We're seeing history here. That's the second time in NFL history a team will be back-to-back games as a home underdog, which is what the Bears will be, right? And the other time it happened, I gave you that stat. It happened with the Eagles, 2017 to 2018. They obviously won both those games as home dogs. And if I was a Bears fan, I'd be hyped up like Chad just gave you. You're getting exactly what you want. You're getting an indoor team from California, outdoors in the element, with a quarterback that might have a banged-up finger. So, I get why Chad's so excited. It's peak right now for Bears fandom. What was the first time you guys had won a home game in the playoffs in like 30 years or since the Super Bowl run? 20 years?
I mean, it's been like 5 coaches since we won a playoff game.
Right. And, like everyone else, the public has the same exact data we have about the weather. So everyone's just coming in hammering this Bears team. Like I said, the professionals are split. For money-wise, I know more money has been on the Rams from pros, right? And I'm interested to see where these groups do. Like, will the groups come in heavier on the Rams and we'll just go back up to 4.5 on this Ram side? Because right now, it is all Bears money for the most part. Like everywhere I've seen and, bookmakers I've talked to, it's all Bears money. The total is split, right? I think pros have come in and done what we've done, which is take the first half under. But overall, it's actually pretty split towards the over. I will give the one good stat I could find about Stafford. And again, like Chad said, this doesn't hold too much truth to it because this is something he's never played in before, right? This is just for under 40 degrees because I've seen so many stats about how bad he is in cold weather. Simply not true. In his career, he is 7-11 in games under 40 degrees because we all know he played in the NFC North for 15 or whatever it was, 12 years, 10 years. Stafford, he is 4-1 against the Bears when it's below 40 degrees, obviously at Soldier Field. And when he's favored, so he's been favored 8 times when it's below 40 degrees, he is 5-3. But out of 7 of those games, he's had a QB rating of a plus 100. So he doesn't struggle horribly. I mean, I just gave you the data there. Like I looked at it early in his career, he really did, which makes sense, right? He played at Georgia, was a dome quarterback in Detroit. He did struggle in Lambeau. He did struggle. What was it? We have 2 years when they played at the Minnesota College Stadium. Yeah. Which is crazy to think back to. And then obviously Soldiers Field, he's actually done pretty well there when it's been cold, but this is a different beast. So yeah, I'm betting the Rams. I can't believe it. Like I thought I'd be on the Bears at this point, but I can't get over the matchup for your guys' defense. They are just
that's the flip side, right?
Offensively, you're going to need that finger to be a real issue because you don't have anyone that can cover Devontae Adams, let alone Puka Nacua. You don't have a single cover, and your safeties, as great as they've been, they do not have the speed for Puka Nacua. So I see a lot of shelf against Puka, and this will end up being a heavy run game for me with Williams and that running game with the Rams team. So.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I don't know that Matthew Stafford's finger is going to be that much of an impact when you're a really good running team playing against a rush defense that is 28th in DVOA against the run, 26th in success rate. They lost their best linebacker in TJ Edwards. The difference between when TJ Edwards plays and when he doesn't play in terms of yards per carry is almost 2 yards per carry. They're giving up 6 yards per carry when TJ Edwards doesn't play. So
is your tackle out too?
You know what? I didn't check that update. I forgot to check that.
I know he hasn't practiced. Anytime I see a guy get carted out, it's like there's no way. But we've seen miracles before, right? So you really never know. But
look, we've seen 7 miracles for the Bears who have won 7 games with less than 2 minutes. So that they were behind with less than 2 minutes left. So like it's a tricky one. It's really a tricky one. It's kind of why I'm still liking the first half under the best, because I do expect like we've seen the Bears get off to slow starts and really ramp it up in the final quarter of the game. And we know the Rams are going to want to ease into this, and why not run the ball a lot when the Bears defense is just atrocious at stopping the run. We've seen Blake Corum and Kyron Williams have fumble problems, and that is something the Bears are really good at. So who knows, that could have an impact. But I'm still leaning to the under in this game I understand why people are pushing it back up. I like that it got to 49. The fact that you're in the Rams worries me a little bit.
It shouldn't, though. Like, I know plenty of pros. I mean, again, the pros that are on the Bears, their biggest reason is what they keep banging the table about is if Bryce Young in the playoffs can light up this defense, what is Caleb and Ben Johnson going to do?
Well, look, they're secondary. Like they were great at the start of the year, but it might have just been because they were playing bad quarterbacks.
Yes,
and they've been terrible in the latter half of the year.
And that to me is like pause where I wanted to be all over this under. Like we just talked about the weather. Both teams to me, they're going to be a run script heavy type of teams just because we've seen it. When it's cold like this, it's hard to grip the ball and catch it. That's how stupid picks and turnovers happen, right?
Yeah.
When you're throwing in these tight windows, it's popping out of guys' hands. And we already know Ben Johnson loves running the ball. McVay is the same thing. Me and Chad lose our minds because McVay chooses to run the ball so much, especially when his team has a lead. So really, really fun game and a really tricky total and obviously side. But yeah, I think I'm almost positive I'm going to end up taking the Rams here in my pick contest. I'm going to take the under as well. And for betting right now, I'm with Chad. I've taken the Rams first half. I've taken the Rams first half under. I think it was 24.5. If you can still get it.
Well, it was 25.5 when we talked about it on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's juiced now, minus 120, I think, now to the under 24.5. So it's obviously the pros have come in, the public coming to well and bet this under. So yeah, it's, we talk all the time. It's really fun where these games are so tight like this, where it's like,
it's great.
Yeah, it's so painful picking either side. You can't, and you probably talk to, no one's really confident, especially in this game, picking a side because of all the unknown factors, the biggest one being what Chad talked about, that finger with Stafford. Is it broken? Is it dislocated? Is it nothing? Right? We'll have better info, I promise you, come Saturday morning.
Simon, what's your biggest bet right now? I think you hinted at it, but give us the truth.
The truth? That's always the truth, brother. I honestly, it was probably the San Francisco plus 7.5. It's looking more and more. I can't believe this. New England Patriots. I can't believe it. Might end up being one of my bigger bets.
Jesus.
Yeah,
that feels like you're getting bullied.
A little bit, but I see what they're saying. I gave you those stats. CJ is just a different quarterback on the road outdoors, and we have all the numbers to back that up. He is just continued to struggle, and now you're taking away his number one receiver. It's like that just feels like too much to overcome for him, but. Yeah, I know I can't believe it, but yeah, I think come Sunday that'll be one of my bigger bets, and we'll see. This right now, this under, I keep betting it. So even 24.5, that's not scaring me off. Once it dips down to 22.5 or gets below 23.5, then I'll pause my betting. But right now, it's still high enough that I'm happy to keep taking that first half under. So I would say for right now, those three are my biggest bets.
Niners plus 7.5, Patriots minus 3, under 24.5 first half. Rams and Bears. All right, sharp versus square. I think we both got killed last week. So do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll lean into it. I'll go Patriots minus 3.
All right. Then you know what I'll do? Bears first half under.
Okay. What number are you going to take? What is it? When we check for you at Hard Rock?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Let's see for Chad. It is... Again, yeah, they're already at 23.5, but it's plus 100.
Oh, just give me the 24 at least.
Okay, it's up to Matt Mitchell. He can give you the 24 minus something.
Well, Matt Mitchell just going to come on the air and call us jagoff. So just give me the 24.
Hey, jagoffs, you can have the 24. Enjoy.
Oh, thank you, Matt Mitchell.
Guy.
Thank you.
No, I flipped the Bills. Now I'm back on the Bills.
Yeah, we all love the Bills. Bills Mafia. Go team. Josh Allen. Yay. All right. What's our favorite parlay here? I feel like this is the last week we can probably do some kind of parlay.
Stretching it.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
Yeah. Is Matt Mitchell going to let us get weird with it? Because I would love to throw that Bears Rams first half into a parlay. But I guess
why don't we do it? I think we can do whatever we want.
Well, if we're going to go dogs, I mean, how do we not go Saturday dog day where we go Bills and 49ers? If we want to go Bills and Bears too for the podcast, I don't hate that either. It's up to you, buddy.
Let's do Niners and
Bills or Bears. Do you like the Bills 49ers better for the underdog parlay?
Niners and Bills.
Niners and Bills. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And for the favorites, I mean, I love Patriots. Are we doing a Sunday chalk? Are we going Patriots again and going Rams? Just in case you do have the Bears lose, at least you have a parlay on it.
Yeah. Pats and Rams. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Listen, everybody knows if you're listening to the show that I am an IU alum. Go IU, fight, fight, fight. I will be in the building Monday night when the Hoosiers take on the Miami Hurricanes in the college football national championship game at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, the fabulous Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens. You also know the best place to stay. One of the hotels closest to the stadium, the awesome, the cool, the incomparable Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. The Guitar Hotel lives up to the hype. I know it. I've stayed there. I've played there. I've wanted to move in there and never leave. I've eaten to my gluttonous content at that hotel. Good times, good food, and of course, full casino, full sports book. Makes you want to skip all the nearby Florida beaches. Thanks to our friends at Hard Rock. I am going to the game this weekend. I'll be roaming around the casino and the sports book. If you're there, say hello. When I'm not there, I'm going to be using the top-rated Hard Rock Bet app to hammer the Hoosiers, and you're going to hear why in a second. It is the only legal sportsbook app available in the state of Florida. They got tons of betting markets already live because we know so many of you will be watching and betting on this game. Here we go. Special guest talking college football joining us right now. All right. We're joined by friend of the show, college football betting expert, Joshua Duck Nunn, one of the co-hosts over at the Big Bets on Campus podcast. Welcome to the show. Duck, thanks for coming on. Here's what I need to know. I'm an Indiana alum. We've been talking about this for weeks. I'm wearing Indiana t-shirts every single day this week. This entire season has been a surreal experience. Let's just say that the listeners on this show haven't watched college football or haven't listened to me crow about the Indiana Hoosiers at any point this year. Could you put what's happening here under Curt Cignetti into perspective for our audience?
In my opinion, he is pulling all of the right levers here at Indiana. He's a high culture guy. He's a high team first attitude coach. There's no egos in the locker room. He had a quote in the media about getting the right people on the bus, having the blueprint, having the vision, and then going out and making it happen. And I think Curt Cignetti has made good on all of that. He has removed any possible excuses in the current landscape of college football today for somebody rebuttaling being able to do a quick turnaround. If you just look at where Indiana was at 730 days ago, I went and looked at it. They were 3-9 and losing to Purdue. They were losing by 4 touchdowns at Maryland. It took quadruple overtime to beat Akron. For anyone listening in here, go back and rewind that and listen to that and let that sink in. It took 4 overtimes to defeat Akron. And now they're undefeated, 15-0, and playing for the national championship. I will happily and proudly go on record and say that this is the greatest coaching job in the history of college athletics. What he's done at the University of Indiana, a program that is storied but didn't have a lot of success for many, many years. I mean, you can go back to the Mallory days before Indiana had really this level of success. And for them to be struggling when he took over so badly to now blowing the doors off of the traditional blue blood powerhouse programs, it is stunning. It is an immaculate coaching job.
Well, Doc, because I'm old, I was in Bloomington at IU for the Mallory days when we'd start off every season 4-0. And then Ohio State or Michigan would come to town and we'd all be psyched. And by halftime, it'd be 45-0. And me and my buddy Matt would be the only ones left in the stands, hanging on for dear life till the end of that game. So I remember the Mallory days well. And I always thought, like, those years, we were the best 6-5-1 team in the country every single year. What Kurt Cignetti has done is so historic. I feel like he should already be in the College Football Hall of Fame. This game, however, unusual situation. Hurricanes playing for a title in their home stadium. We actually asked the SVP of the Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook, Neil Walsh, because they're down in Florida. The only legal sportsbook in the state of Florida is Hard Rock Bet. We asked him to clarify like how they're baking that advantage, home field advantage, into the spread. I'm curious to get your take on this after I read his response, which is obviously the Miami program knows the locker rooms, the field, the routine. They're not looking at this, says Neil, as a true home game. The crowd will be mixed. Damn straight, I'll be there cheering for Indiana. The sideline isn't there. That was me, by the way, not Neil. The sideline isn't theirs. The environment is closer to a neutral site than a normal home date. Because of that, Neil says, we're assigning a smaller home field adjustment than usual when compared to some of the larger on-campus venues across college football. Miami and Hard Rock would not be considered one of the stronger home field advantages. And for a championship game, we estimate, says Neil, the edge at about 2 points compared to 3 or 4 in a standard home game. Does that level up with your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a sharp take, and I think it's an appropriate take. You look at Miami historically, and they don't have a tremendous home field atmosphere. Their campus isn't, or excuse me, the stadium isn't on campus. Miami culturally in sports has a problem with people showing up on time and kind of getting the environment to where it needs to be anyway in a multitude of different sports. And this is not going to be akin to going into Ohio State Stadium or the Big House or Alabama or somewhere like that, where it's going to feel like a really hostile environment. And now you put the stage at the national championship setting, and you're going to have a huge constituent of Indiana fans. I feel very strongly that this will not feel like a Miami home game.
I'm going to say, having been in Atlanta last week, knowing Indiana's alumni base is literally the largest in the world, more than 800,000 alumni, knowing this team, these fans are traveling, and knowing how thirsty they are and desperate they are and how much everyone is enjoying this run, Hoosiers are going to show out in Miami.
I would say, just like all games, I think zero effect will be done by the fans. It's all about the coaching, right? What you just talked about, Duck. It's a coaching difference here, in my opinion. That's what most pro bettors are talking about. This Cignetti seems like, respected to bettors, he's the best coach you could possibly have for this game. And all the people waiting for, Duck, what is your favorite bets for this game? Everyone wants to know.
I mean, I looked into this pretty extensively, and I ended up getting to the window and laying it with Indiana here. I looked at a couple of different metrics and a couple of different things that, these are two top 15 teams, two very good college football teams. And so you're trying to find out these minute differences which could decide the game. For me, there's a discipline discrepancy. Miami is the 5th most heavily penalized team in the entire country. Indiana has the 10th fewest penalties accepted against them and the 6th fewest penalty yards assessed against them. I look at Indiana's red zone defense. They had only surrendered 6 red zone touchdowns all season before the Oregon game. The margin was so wide. There was a little bit of garbage time in that Oregon game, which caused some red zone scoring for the Ducks, but just 34% touchdowns surrendered on the season for Indiana with their defense in the red zone. So with the field compressed, with throwing lanes and receiving windows so minuscule, I worry about Miami being able to produce in the red zone at a level that's going to be necessary to seriously threaten to win this game or stay within the number. And then lastly, a forgotten element of football is special teams. Massive edge for Indiana. Their special teams composite rankings are 5th nationally compared to 49th for Miami. Indiana's better in the trenches. They're such a better tackling team. They're better disciplined. I think in situations where they have to have it, their execution will rise above Miami's. And Miami has had times this season where they've gone through stretches where they've been undisciplined, which either thwarts their offensive drives or it continues the drive against their defense for the opponent. And I think that in a game of this magnitude between two great teams with good athletes all over the field, that's what it's going to come down to. So I'm not afraid of the big number here. I laid the 8.5 with Indiana.
Well, it's interesting, Simon, you said the other day you were going to take the outline at 13.5. So I like hearing Duck completely independently going in the same direction. We asked Hard Rock Bet for info from their trading team about where the action is coming in right now. And Hard Rock Bet sent us a ton of information. They're the only legal sports book in Florida. So it's a very good lens into the market. And from an against the spread perspective, no surprise, because it is the only legal sports book in Florida. 62% of the bets, 68% of the money on Miami, plus 8.5. About a third of the game handle was on the Hurricanes money line, 1 in every 4 bets on the game. So by far, it's their most popular bet. Again, not that surprising given that it's a legal sports book in the state of Florida. Although a lot of sharp bettors in the state of Florida. As we've been saying all year, we've seen some sharp lines coming out of Hard Rock. So if Miami pulled off the upset, not great for Hard Rock. They're rooting for a big Indiana win. Best case scenario, Indiana by 9 and the over. For those asking, Hard Rock has taken one bet that's by far the biggest bet, a 6-figure bet from a respected player on Indiana, but it was at -6.5, -130. A lot of interest from sharp bettors on the Hoosiers in the early going on this game. Final question for you, Duck. Exotic wagers you'd recommend?
Yeah, so there's a couple here, and I'll go through them real quickly. Charlie Becker, the receiver for Indiana, number 80, over 2.5 receptions. He has been such a reliable third option in this offense, with most of the attention being given to Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt. If you look at Becker, he had 2 catches in each of the 2 playoff games, but Indiana was wiping the floor with Alabama and Oregon. And over the last 2 games, they've run the ball 90 times as opposed to just 36 passing attempts. But if you look at when Indiana, the rare circumstances when they were in kind of gotta have it mode, Penn State game, Becker had 7 receptions for 118 yards. The Ohio State game in the Big Ten Championship, 6 catches for 126 yards. Only 2 in each of the playoff games, but I do think that this game will certainly be closer than 35 points with a lot of garbage time in the second half. So I don't expect that here. And I think Indiana will have some situations where they will have to have it, and Becker is such an outlet and such a trusted outlet for Mendoza. So with his reception total at 2.5, I like over. I also think if you're kind of feeling a little bit frisky and you want to do something fun with the first quarter, I do like the first quarter under. And I do think that there's going to be a significant feeling out process from both of these opponents that are unfamiliar with each other. So I would not be surprised to see Indiana first drive punt, Miami first drive punt, and that rolls into a first quarter under. So you can kind of throw all 3 of those together in a parlay, get about 4.5 to 1. So punt, first quarter under, and then it's game on from there. So I kind of like that as well.
Nice. I like that a lot. All right. Joshua Nunn, a.k.a. Duck, on Twitter, at Step on a Duck. Catch him on the Big Bets on Campus podcast. Thanks for all the intel, the info. The Hoosier Nation supports your choices.
Let's go. It's going to be a fun game. We'll be singing the Indiana song together, guys. Have a great day.
Hoosiers! This has been Sharper Square, part of the Volume Podcast Network. We will be back on Saturday morning to lock in our final 5. Watch or listen on YouTube at Sharper Square. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Download us from Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever you get your pods. Rate, review, subscribe. Leave us 5 stars. Say whatever you want. Feedback is a gift. Until next time, love you.
The road to the Super Bowl filled with unexpected twists and turns, detours, and shattering collisions. But the final prize makes the trip worthwhile.